I understand. Does Hashio Toya live near the city? I was told that a meeting near here would be satisfactory at any time. I see. In that case, can I ask you to arrange a meeting for us in a quiet coffee shop next Sunday? Yes, as you wish. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. I believe Hashio will be delighted as well. I have one condition. Yes, whatever you say. I'm not going to discuss business, so please refrain from sending anyone from the editing department. But of course, we will do as you say. Madame Hashio and I will meet alone, just the two of us. Can I count on you to keep that promise? Well, as to that, we would appreciate it if you kept this quiet, but what is it? Well, the truth is, the works of Hashio Toya were written by two people. To the outside world, those books were written by a single female author, but there was actually a second author, a male one. The pair of them asked for a chance to meet you. As soon as I heard that, I felt a premonition. How had Hashio Toya, a person with no connections to the Ushiromi family, managed to write about it in such detail? I was already feeling a premonition of a certain kind of miracle. When I left on my journey, I abandoned the name of Ushiromi Angie and stepped into a new life. By now, things have settled down, but when the Sumadara family was still a threat, I wanted to distance myself from that name. Thanks to that, no one was able to get in touch with the new me anymore. However, now that Sakutaru's adventure has caught the public eye this year, I made the name of Kotobuki Yukari famous. Isn't this the same strategy that Suzuki Satro is using? You know, Momonga, Ainzel Gon, Overlord? Maybe it finally reached his ears. I used to play with a lion stuffed animal called Sakutaro along with Maria One-chan. If those who knew this connected the name Sakutaro with my name, then it's only natural that they'd figure out who I was. The number of people who would be able to recognize me from that very, very small. This person was also very well versed in detective novels and a man. I could only think of one person who matched. After all, I knew just how many detective novels he had piled up in his room from the time when his effects were gone through. It was almost the time we had arranged for our meeting. My heart was racing, almost like a girl in love for the very first time. At the very instant that the arranged time came, I heard the sound of the chime on the door, and they appeared. It was a man sitting on a wheelchair, and a woman pushing him. My eyes immediately fixed on the man in the wheelchair. And right away, I saw the traces that remained on his face. There's no doubt about it. He's my brother. My brother, Uromiya Battler. When our eyes met, he gave a little bow. I hurried to my feet and bowed back. It was a somewhat exaggerated and silly way for a pair of siblings to greet each other after several decades apart. However, my mind was already blank. The miracle I had waited for all this time was now a reality. Are you Miss Kotobuki Yukari? Yes, I am. And you two must be Hashio Toya? It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you very much for letting us borrow your precious time today. My name is Hashio Ikuko. I am mostly in charge of the actual writing. This is Toya. Hi, technically feathering Augustus Aurora and Sayo Yasuda, Beatrice, Shannon, Cannon, Leon Ushiromiya. He mostly handles the drafting. Though the woman who called herself Ikuko was far older than me, she seemed to be unbelievably youthful. It wasn't because she was good with makeup or dressed like a younger woman. It feels strange to say it, there was a strange mystique about her, as though she was immortal and never aging. Then I quickly remembered that she had introduced my brother as Toya. Pardon me for asking, but are you two married? We are not married, but we have been together for a long time. True. Looking back on it, it really has been a long time. My brother smiled as he spoke, when I learned that, at least for him, these long decades hadn't been a period of isolation and loneliness. I felt an incredible sense of peace and relief. Before I knew it, he was staring back into my face. Well, I was just 6 years old last time we met. It must be hard for him to find any traces he can recognize. However, I'm sure he'll recognize something just the same. We kept stealing glances at each other and looking away like a couple on a blind date. We were both at an age where outside appearances mattered to us. Even though we both knew we wouldn't let our polite exterior falter, this humorous exchange was extremely embarrassing. I thought it would be a fated reunion, that we would hold each other and sob tears of gratitude together. However, reality seemed to be different, but that's fine. It seems like my heart will explode with happiness. Let's take our orders. Is coffee okay? What does everyone want? I'd prefer something that isn't so bitter. How about you, Miss Kodobuki? Oh, I don't mind. I guess I'll have cafe al latte. I don't know how to pronounce that. How stiff we're all being. Even my brother seemed to be finding it amusing by now. Well now, when she said that, my brother and I fell silent and sat up straight. Should I start, or will we start with you, Toya? I'll go first. I'm the one who pushed so hard for this meeting after all. As he spoke, he watched me calmly. I came here today thinking that you might be a certain person. Her name is Ushiromi Angie. When I read your works and heard your name, I was sure that you were her. That's right. How long it's been since I last used that name? My true name is Ushiromi Angie. I gave the exaggerated bow that I'd gotten so used to these long years. We've both aged, haven't we, Oni-chan? I whispered this in my heart. Now it was my turn. With a quick apology, I fished around in my handbag and took out a photo. It was a picture from a trip I'd taken to an amusement park with Battler Oni-chan. I had many other pictures of us having a good time, but this one had the best shot of his face. I looked between him and the photo. There was no longer any room for doubt. Mr. Toya, your true name is Ushiromi Battler-san, isn't it? The hands of the clock inside me stopped. I wanted him to answer with a yes, even though I was already so sure. I was still about to burst with attention. And then, when that instant that seemed far too long ended, my brother answered, "That's right." Unconsciously, I stared at my brother's face with unbelievable quickness. He acknowledged that he was Ushiromi Battler. My eyes immediately filled and overflowed with tears. I took out a handkerchief and wiped them away, but I couldn't hold them back. Oni-chan was alive after all, so why didn't he come back to me right away? If he had been there during my darkest days, it would have meant so much to me. Normally, the thought would have made me curse my brother, but by now even that emotion was softened. After all, now that I was faced with the miracle of being reunited with Oni-chan, everything I'd felt before fell away with my tears. At this moment, I was happy. I was never alone. I worked so hard for decades with that belief in my heart, and now I've finally been rewarded. By now, I couldn't even stop my tears. For some time, I continued to sob and sniffle. Watching this, my brother hung his head apologetically. Why didn't he come back to me sooner? It looked as though he was feeling regret for that. But I'm sure he had some sort of reason. He's probably here today to tell me about it and apologize. Already, just by him introducing himself to me today, everything inside of me has been washed clean with tears. I'm sorry. I must be embarrassing you. No, It's only to be expected. For several decades you've been waiting all alone, believing that your family would return. I did believe. I believed you would come home, Oni-chan. I held up my hand weakly, and my brother slowly held his out too. Then I gripped his hand. Regardless of how many long years has passed, it was, without a doubt, my brother's hand. Once more, I had to struggle to hold back the tears. Aunt Ava avoided the explosion accident by escaping to Kuadorian. How did you escape the accident, Oni-chan, Nissan? On that day, I escaped through the underground passage, the one that goes to Kuadorian. I was told that underground passage led to a hidden mansion on the opposite side of the island. However, the place we escaped to was a submarine base, not Kuadorian. I don't know why my brother entered the underground passage on that day. At any rate, he went into the underground passage, and unlike Aunt Ava, he escaped to the submarine base. There he escaped this explosion and survived. After that, I got away on a motorboat. However, it must have capsized somewhere along the way. It must have? Please forgive him. Toya suffers from memory loss. His memory from around the time he was drowning in the ocean is hazy. Could it be that he forgot he was Ushiromi Battler for a while? That is correct. Yes, that explains nearly all of the riddles. My brother escaped from the explosion, but either his boat capsized during escape from the island, or he fell overboard. Afterwards, he must have drifted somewhere, wandered about half conscious, and probably got into a traffic accident. On that day, he was lying on the road. If she had found me even a little later, I probably wouldn't have opened my eyes again. I believe you suspected that I was the one who hit you for quite some time. Hey, I've already apologized for that.